The story of Nader Shah Afshar and the fall of empires. Once upon a time, in a land worn down by war and endless chaos, a poor boy was born in the rugged plains of Khorasan. No prophecy announced his birth. No royal blood ran in his veins. No one believed that this child would one day place a crown upon his own head and make kings tremble. His name was Nader. He was not raised in palaces of gold. He did not grow up among silk and jewels. His childhood was shaped by hunger, cold nights, and the harsh wind of the steppe. He herded sheep, he learned to survive, and he carried a rusty sword long before he knew how to read. Yet inside his heart burned a fire that would not fade, a fire of ambition, a fire of vengeance against fate, and above all, a dream of saving Iran from collapse. A wounded Iran. In those days, Iran was broken. Afghan armies had stormed Isfahan, the glorious capital of the Safavids. Ottoman forces pressed from the west, claiming cities and fortresses. Russian troops descended from the north, seizing ports along the Caspian Sea. The empire was torn apart. Trade had stopped. Villages burned. Caravans vanished on empty roads. The king was weak, and the people had lost hope. Many believed Iran was finished, but Nader did not. He lifted his sword and spoke to the sky. "Either I will save Iran, or I will die trying." The rise of a commander. Nader joined the army of Shah, the last struggling ruler of the Safavid dynasty. At first, he was only a soldier, but soon everyone saw the truth. He was different. In battle, he moved like lightning. He struck where enemies felt safe. He attacked before they could prepare, and he never knew the meaning of retreat. Afghan forces were crushed. Mashhad was liberated. Nishapur fell back into Persian hands, and at last, Isfahan itself was reclaimed. Enemies who had ruled Iran for years fled in fear. From campfire to campfire, from mountain to desert, one name spread: Nader. The fall of the Safavids, the rise of the Afsharids. Nader soon realized that the Safavid king was too weak to rule. Iran did not need a frightened monarch. It needed a warrior. It needed a commander. So Nader removed the Safavids from power and crowned himself king. He declared before his army, "Iran must rise again. Iran must become an empire once more." Thus began the Afsharid dynasty. Defeating the Ottomans. Nader turned his eyes westward. The Ottomans had ruled Persian lands for years. Their armies were vast. Their cannons thundered across mountains. Battle followed battle. Snow-covered peaks echoed with musket fire. Valleys filled with smoke and blood. But Nader's tactics were ruthless and brilliant. He struck fast. He surrounded his enemies. He destroyed their supply lines. And at last, the Ottoman armies were defeated, and Iran's western borders were restored. For the first time in generations, the Ottomans feared a Persian king. War with Russia. In the north, Russian forces still held Iranian territory along the Caspian shores. Nader marched without hesitation. Some lands he took by war. Others he reclaimed through diplomacy and threat. Step by step, the Russians withdrew. And Nader proclaimed, "Not a single inch of Iran belongs to foreigners." The campaign to India. But Nader's greatest march was toward India. At that time, India was ruled by the Mughal Empire, the richest empire in the world. Its cities glittered with gold. Its palaces overflowed with treasure. Nader led his army through mountains, deserts, and deadly passes. Men collapsed from exhaustion. Horses died on frozen roads. But Nader did not stop. In the Battle of Karnal, his smaller army shattered the massive Mughal forces. The road to Delhi lay open. Delhi fell. The world gasped. The treasures of India were taken into Persian hands. The peacock throne, the Kohinoor diamond, and wealth beyond imagination. Kings and emperors understood. Nader was not only the king of Iran, he was a breaker of empires. The king who changed. But power changes men. The shepherd became a conqueror. The conqueror became a tyrant. Nader grew suspicious. He trusted no one. He saw enemies in every shadow. He ordered harsh punishments. Taxes crushed the people. Fear replaced loyalty. The same sword that had saved Iran now fell upon its own sons. The people no longer loved him. They feared him. Death in the darkness. One night, in a military camp in Khorasan, under cold stars and silent tents, several of his commanders entered his tent while he slept. Steel flashed in the darkness. Nader Shah Afshar was dead. Not on a battlefield, not in glory, not in triumph, but alone. The legacy of Nader Shah. He had saved Iran from destruction. He had restored its borders. He had defeated mighty empires. Yet he failed to keep the hearts of his people. His empire collapsed soon after his death. But his name did not vanish. History remembers him as the commander who rose from dust and shattered empires. A man who climbed to power by the sword and left the world by the sword. And history still says, Nader Shah Afshar, the last great conqueror of the East.